Welcome to Living Ideas. In this episode, you'll witness how a man turns a living giant tree into a warm, handcrafted survival shelter. No concrete, no nails, just nature, patience, and skill. From clearing roots to crafting walls and learning how to live in harmony with the forest. This is the art of surviving wild inside a tree. First things first, I need to clear out the wild plants growing inside the tree hollow and sweep away the dry leaves scattered around. This will give me a clean foundation to start shaping the shelter. With a shovel in hand, I begin leveling the ground inside the tree. This flat surface will become the heart of my shelter, the living space. Just outside, I'm carving out a small open area, a front yard, nature style. With the front yard leveled and ready, I move on to something essential, a fire pit. I dig a shallow basin and shape it carefully with clay, turning it into a simple earthen stove. This will be my kitchen for the days ahead, a warm corner for meals while the shelter takes shape. I carve out a round opening at the top, just wide enough to fit my campfire cooking pot, and above that, I leave a small vent for smoke to escape. A built-in chimney, primitive style, but it'll keep the inside air clean while I cook. I head into the forest, searching for the perfect dry branch, one that's hollow or can be carved easily, strong enough to serve as a chimney. After some walking and careful picking, I finally find it, nature's answer to a stovepipe. I hollow out the center of the branch, slowly carving away the core. When I'm done, what's left is a perfect chimney, lightweight, sturdy, and ready for use. Simple materials, smart survival. With the chimney ready, it's time to gather the bones of the shelter. I head back into the woods, searching for dry, sturdy branches, the kind that won't bend or rot easily. One by one, I cut them down and haul them back. These will form the walls, the frame, the skeleton of my forest home. Before I start stacking walls, I need to shape my building blocks. I build a simple X-frame stand, stable, practical, and just the right height. On this, I'll place each branch and cut it down into even, rounded segments. Primitive forest bricks, made by hand, one at a time. With enough wooden bricks stacked up, I shift my focus to the entrance. I carve a solid door frame from raw timber, trimming it to fit snugly, and drilling precise holes at the joints to lock everything tightly in place. For a touch of natural craftsmanship, I chisel decorative grooves into the surface, making the wood look like it's made of stacked grain bricks. A small detail, but one that makes the whole structure feel hand-built and alive. With the door frame completed, I turn my attention to preparing the mortar. I carve a mixing trough from a split log, a sturdy wooden basin that keeps the water from draining into the soil. It's primitive, but effective. This way, I can mix thick clay without wasting a single drop. I knead the clay thoroughly until it becomes sticky and smooth, almost like natural glue. This rich, tacky mud is perfect for bonding the wooden bricks together. As I stack each round block into place, the clay seals the gaps and locks the structure solid. Primitive construction, but surprisingly strong. I stack the wooden bricks in perfect alignment, row by row, and the grain patterns form a natural, beautiful texture across the wall. Each block fits snugly, and the clay holds it all together like ancient masonry. Above the door frame, I carve out a hollow log to serve as a vent. It lets fresh air in without letting warmth escape. Practical, and it adds a rustic charm. With the front wall complete, I move inside to continue building the inner wall. Each wooden brick fits tighter now, the structure taking shape with every layer. Then I turn to the back, carefully stacking more timber until the shelter is fully enclosed. To survive the cold forest nights, I build a fireplace inside, dug right into the wall. It's more than just heat. It's comfort, safety, and a beating heart for this wooden home. The fireplace is built from stone, solid, heat-resistant, and timeless. I attach a tall chimney, rising above the roofline. That way, the smoke escapes cleanly, and the air inside stays fresh. With warmth now secured, I return to the wall, stacking the final rows of wooden bricks. Slowly, the shelter transforms from a vision into a fortress, one that breathes with fire and holds strong against the wild. Inside the hollow trunk, I spot a natural hole, a perfect opportunity. I carve it cleaner and shape it into a small window. Now, soft daylight can pour in, and I can gaze out into the forest beyond. A simple touch, but it breathes life into the shelter. Right beside the fireplace and under the window, I drive solid wooden stakes into the ground. Using wooden pegs, I lock the bed frame in place, firm, stable, and level. Then I cut a set of evenly sized branches, tying them tightly together with jungle vine. Just like that, I've built a simple yet sturdy bed. After a long day in the wild, this is where comfort begins. In the harsh humidity of the rainforest, a solid roof is not a luxury, it's survival. I choose only the strongest timber to craft the roof frame. Each beam is carefully set in place, locked with wooden joints, ready to bear the weight of rain, wind, and time. With the heavy roof beams in place, now comes the part that demands precision. I take each carefully whittled timber, equal in size, smooth in finish, and secure them one by one with solid wooden pegs. These tight joints will form the sturdy skeleton, ready to hold the weight of the roof that's yet to come. With the frame complete, it's time to cover the roof. I head back into the forest and find a special kind of wood. Tough on the outside, hollow on the inside. Each piece is cut into uniform segments, just like handmade shingles. These natural tiles will form the first protective layer of the roof, combining durability with the beauty of raw materials. The process took a lot of time and effort. Each tile had to be measured, cut, and refined with care. But finally, after hours of work, I had enough natural shingles to cover the entire roof. Every piece was ready, and so was I. The roofing process finally began. I started from the bottom, laying each tile with its curve facing upward to catch the flow. Then, layer by layer, I overlapped each new row facing downward, like natural shingles locking into place. This method creates a miniature rain gutter system, allowing water to run down smoothly without leaking inside. It's a simple trick from nature, and it works like a charm. With the roof finally complete, it was time to design the front door. I wanted something strong, but also light enough to open and close with ease. I selected dry, flexible wood, shaved and trimmed each piece to size, then joined them using traditional wooden pegs. Every notch, every joint was carved by hand to ensure a perfect fit. This door wouldn't just keep the forest out. It would also welcome me home. To make sure the door could open and close smoothly, I designed a simple yet effective wooden hinge system. Using carved dowels and a notched frame, I created a pivot that was strong enough to hold, but loose enough to swing freely. I tested it a few times, and to my surprise, it worked flawlessly. No metal, no screws, just wood, precision, and gravity doing the work. I carefully bent a branch into a perfect circle, just the right size to fit the round window opening. Then, I sealed it with a piece of clear plastic, creating a makeshift window that traps warmth inside, while still letting sunlight pour in during the day. It's a simple touch, but it makes the shelter feel more like a real home. With the shelter nearly complete, it was time to turn my attention to the front yard. A home, even one in the wild, deserves a welcoming entrance. I began clearing the area outside the tree, removing debris, leveling the ground, and marking the layout. Soon, what was once just forest floor started to look like a real front porch. To give the front yard more shape and structure, I started building a low wall using packed earth. I shaped the mud carefully, layer by layer, making sure it was firm and balanced. This wasn't just for looks. The wall would help keep the soil in place, block wind, and frame the space like a natural courtyard. Slowly, the wilderness was becoming something livable and even beautiful. Once the perimeter wall was finished, I turned my focus to the ground itself. Using a shovel and my bare hands, I filled in the entire yard with fresh soil, packing it down layer by layer. It took time and patience, but I eventually leveled the surface into a smooth, even floor. With the yard leveled, I headed back into the forest, this time with a new idea in mind. I was looking for something unique, twisted, gnarled branches, the kind shaped by time, weather, and nature itself. These rough, weathered limbs would be perfect for building a rustic railing around the front yard. Not only would they add safety, but also character, giving the shelter a wild, handcrafted beauty. After gathering enough materials, I cut the twisted branches into shorter sections. Each piece was carefully shaped and joined using wooden pegs. No nails, no glue, just precision and patience. One by one, I connected them into a rustic railing that wrapped around the front yard. The result? Way better than I expected. The irregular shapes gave the fence a natural elegance, like something straight out of a fairy tale forest. For the final touch, I made my way to the stream, where time and water had done the carving for me. There, I found flat river stones with smooth surfaces, nature's version of floor tiles. I selected the best ones, packed them in my basket, and carried them back one load at a time. These stones would be perfect for paving the shelter floor and front yard. Solid, cool, and beautiful. With each stone placed, the wilderness felt less wild and more like home. Once I had gathered enough stones, it was time to begin paving the floor. Starting from inside the shelter, I laid each stone carefully, fitting them like pieces of a giant natural puzzle. Working from the back of the shelter outward, I ensured every step would be solid and level. As the floor took shape, the space transformed from a hollowed tree into a cozy, grounded living area. No more muddy feet, no more uneven ground, just stone. Strong, simple, and clean. With the stone floor and front yard finally complete, I took a step back and admired the transformation. But something was missing. A place to sit, to rest, to enjoy a warm meal under the sky. What this little forest porch needed now was a table and a bench. So, I started planning how to craft them from the same materials nature had already given me. Sometimes the simplest ideas work best. I took 2 thick wood slices and mounted them onto a solid vertical post. In just a few minutes, I had crafted a sturdy, rustic table, perfect for outdoor meals or resting with a cup of wild tea. Strong, simple, and made entirely by hand, this table fit right into my little forest patio. With the survival house finally complete, I took a well-earned rest. But no home in the wild is complete without food. And tonight, I wanted fresh stream fish. After recharging, I got to work crafting bait from natural ingredients. In the forest, even the smallest detail matters. Scent, shape, and texture could decide whether dinner bites or swims away. I returned to a familiar pool in the stream, a quiet, shaded spot I had noticed earlier. It looked promising, the kind of place where fish hide beneath the still surface. With my handmade rod and wild-crafted bait, I cast the line gently into the water, and then I waited. In the forest, patience is not just a virtue, it's a survival skill. Then, a sudden tug on the line, I pulled with care, and out came a slippery, thrashing catfish, fat and full of fight. Not long after, another pull. This time, it was a snakehead, sleek, strong, and just as wild as the forest around us. 2 powerful fish caught in a single session. Looks like dinner was coming from the stream tonight, and it was going to be unforgettable. Back at the shelter, I cleaned the fish carefully and filleted the meat. Then, I mixed a simple batter using forest flour and crushed herbs I had gathered earlier. I coated each piece of fish and dropped them into hot oil over the fire. The sound of sizzling, the smell of crispy golden skin. In the heart of the jungle, I was frying up a feast. My stomach growled, a reminder that I had earned this meal. I took the first bite. The crispiness of the fried fish, the aroma of wild herbs. It was simple, but it tasted like victory. As the golden sun dipped behind the trees, I sat quietly on my handmade bench, watching the forest settle down for the night. No noise, no rush, just nature, warmth, and a full belly. This is what peace feels like. I ended the day with a warm cup of wild forest tea. Simple, earthy, and comforting. The temperature was dropping fast. As night fell, I stepped inside the tree shelter and lit the fireplace. The gentle crackle of flames echoed softly against the wooden wall. Outside, the jungle whispered under the moonlight. Inside, I had warmth, shelter, and a quiet sense of accomplishment. Another day survived, and another story written in the heart of the forest. Thank you for joining me on this journey deep in the wild. If you enjoyed this build and the peaceful rhythm of forest life, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Living Ideas. Every shelter tells a story, and this one was carved from a living giant. See you in the next adventure, somewhere even deeper in the forest.